I happened to be active on social media this morning for preparing for the show and preparing. A lot of time I'll scan things, and I saw this post. And who do you think has the advantage here? And it's from Derek A. Derek doesn't have his last name on here. He's an information security manager at a healthcare or hospital. And he said, we've mired our defenders down with administrative nonsense. Imagine a police department that put cops on the streets for just 23 minutes per shift in a city of 20,000 or more. And then he has this list, he has a picture. And he said, what the attackers, cybersecurity again, right? So what the attackers are doing right now, their priorities are, number one, reach the network. Number two, monetize. He goes, what the defenders will do today. In other words, what him and his department will do today. He said, number one, 4 hours of meetings. Number two, status updates. Number three, add notes and tickets. Number four, timesheets. Number five, HR mandated training. Number six, close tickets for false positives. Number seven, update slide decks. Number eight, update policies. Number nine, 23 minutes in defense work. And then he has in a circle, he says, who will win? And I say all that to say it's comical, it's funny. The reason it's comical and funny to me is because I lived it. We have a meeting culture. We have a meeting and PowerPoint culture. Is there a way to get beyond this, that we are actually spending more time making the lives of clinicians better and more time making the lives of patients better and more times defending? And I know that those are kind of Pollyanna kind of comments, because those meetings, and a lot of those meetings, we do that work. But is there a way to get out of this meeting-centric culture?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think the biggest disservice, I can't say a brand name, but let's just say maybe an email calendaring program that almost all of us use. I think the biggest disservice they ever did was that, if you notice, out of the box, the default meeting time is 1 hour. You have to actually go in and change it to be 15 minutes or a half hour. What if default meeting time was a half hour? And how many people do you think would actually go in and make that a full hour? I think we just say, okay, let's just make it an hour. And then what do we say? Oh, good news, guys, to give you 15 minutes free back, right, in your day. If we end at 45 minutes, we all get excited. We have 15 minutes left. And that just prepares us for the next hour-long meeting, or 45 minutes if we get lucky. So I think number one, to your point, Bill, yeah, where communication is important. And again, this comes back to balance. So we want to make sure everybody knows everything. In healthcare, we tend to over-communicate, because under-communicating can actually, God forbid, lead to a bad outcome for a patient. So we want to really make sure. We do timeouts before surgical procedures. We have to over-communicate to make sure every single I is dotted. And so that healthcare as a whole, we still have to remain focused on communication. So we want to make sure everybody's in the loop. Also, you mentioned about policies, right? Again, look at policies. We're measured by if we have a policy and if we follow the policy. When Joint Commission comes in, they less question whether your policy was correct. They do, obviously, but they more focus on, does a policy exist? Is it a systematic failure, or is it an individual failure? So right away we jump to creating effective policies. And I think it just comes back to what I said earlier. It's about balance. We have to communicate. We shouldn't over communicate. We have to have policies. We shouldn't have policies that are losing the sight of the box. We're thinking so far out of the box, we actually lost sight of purpose. To directly answer your question about how do we get out of excess meetings, I think as good leaders, we do certain things that make that leading succinct. If we come in, and this is just meeting 101, right? If you come in and there's no formal agenda, there's no follow-ups, there's no accountability, and it's a discussion, it's a kumbaya, then it's a 45-minute waste. But if your meetings are calculated as a business, then I think there's a lot of value to it. I think it'll be interesting is if people start to actually capture the cost of these meetings in projects, right, which many already do. You'll start to see maybe, okay, we got too far. So sorry, little.